Is it all just doom and gloom? Now, they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And, YouTube is a unique thing in that we have creators. We're all creators, the people that make the videos every day. And I'm a huge YouTube fan. And I can say that I am a student of YouTube and have been so for, it's probably been about 14 years. And I was one of the earliest guitar players that I know of that was on YouTube, doing some playing videos and stuff. I put out a video called Guitar Depravity. Like, I don't know, it must have been 14 years ago or something. And it was just a video, lo-fi video of me playing in my apartment at the time. And that video I haven't looked at the numbers on that, but, I didn't know how to continue on. I didn't really know what, the potential of this format could be. And so I would, occasionally put out a video and, I didn't understand that I needed to build something and make it grow like I do now. And that's because I've studied YouTube. And, I've seen, people, there's certain players that do certain things. There's some people that do very well-produced videos. And there's some people that do very lo-fi, low-budget style videos. And I've seen both type of videos do very well. And, we all kind of see these things, and it's just like playing. We pick up things by listening, and that is how we grow as players. So, if I am playing on a gig and somebody goes, take a solo, and, I will start to play things depending on the style of song. I will start to play things that probably I may have heard before, or trying to sound like somebody I've heard before, just to try to create something. And it's the same thing with YouTube. I've done videos where, I've seen players that they do a little playing segment and then they talk afterwards. So, I tried that format for a while, and I still every now and then I'll do some videos like that. And I even thought about, hey, I'll talk and then I'll just play a little bit afterwards. And for the people that want to hear the talk and the serious stuff, they can get their talk first, and then I'll play guitar a little bit afterwards. But I've studied YouTube. There's a lot of different YouTubers that I like, and they're not all just players. There's some comedy guys that I watch. There's some kind of, not stunts, but what do you call it when they go around and they try to aggravate people and shoot these videos. Some of those I like, some of them I don't like. But we learn from watching, just like we learn in music from listening. But, I think some people, and I know for a fact because they've said it, have picked up on my style. They picked up on my, frank discussions with the music, about the music business and about, trying to be a professional musician and how tough it is. And, they've kind of deemed it doom and gloom. And, they've taken, the kind of the format that I came up with, and they're kind of doing their own thing on it. That's perfectly normal, and hey, that's the way it is. We all have a story to tell. We all have, interesting things that have happened when you've been in this business this long. And, that's just the way it is. But I find it amusing, and it didn't escape my attention when I immediately see somebody shift from instructional videos and how to play this and how to practice this to all of a sudden they're outside and they're whispering and they're telling their tales, and I just have to go, it's like hearing somebody imagining, Eddie Van Halen on the Strip, playing the Sunset Strip. And man, let me tell you something. My time period out there, people copied people. Just it was pretty out of hand. You would hear stories about certain famous musicians, guys from sort of motley bands and things like that, about them going and listening to unsigned bands and getting songwriting ideas from songs that they had. And if you came up with something cool, and you did something cool that the other band wasn't doing, is a good chance that the next week you would you'd hear them kind of biting your style. And there was a band back in the day, back on my Sunset Strip time. And I know people love hearing these stories, but this guy. So we played a gig with another a sort of similar type band to our band, but we had been incorporating elements of rap, and we had I had been listening to albums that I'd gotten from label reps. Like, I got Snoop Dogg's first single before anybody had heard it. They said, here, this Dr. Dre produced this, and I knew exactly who Dr. Dre was. So, I was listening to this stuff and trying to keep the music on the Strip relevant by incorporating things that I heard. So, we would do raps, in our hard rock songs. And, I remember the first time I did it, because I would do the raps sometimes. And I remember the first time I did it, the crowd just like, it was like this big thing, because at the time, there wasn't any, white guys rapping that I knew of. I guess the Beasty Boys, I guess you could say that. Yeah, that was before us, but certainly not on the Sunset Strip. Certainly not. So I remember playing this show with another band that was kind of similar to us, but they had gotten a record deal, and they were the headliner, and we were direct support. And we did our rap. And it was a rap of kind of like about a dog, guy being a dog kind of like thing. And I remember, I think it was like the next week or a couple weeks later, we did something else with those guys. And all of a sudden they've got a rapper on stage, and they're rapping some song about a dog. And it's like, okay, you weren't doing this the week before, and now you've got a rapper on stage. And he's just going, and I think years later, I had kind of, I sent the guy a message or something online and just said, hey man, do you remember this? And you guys kind of, taking this idea from us. And man, he just completely denied it and tried to flip it around. And hey, well, maybe you can work for me, and and all this kind of stuff. But that's a lesson there. Hey man, Eddie Van Halen used to turn his back on the audience so that people couldn't see how he was tapping, because man, it would have been stolen immediately before they got their record deal if he hadn't have done that. And I very firmly believe that. The Sunset Strip, I mean, look, we're all clamoring for success. We're all trying to find what works. And, you know, I stumbled on something with my Broke on the Road video. And if you haven't seen that, check that out. But, you know, it was just started out on my porch early in the morning, just, you know, talking about how much musicians get paid and, you know, and how it's, you know, with the economy the way it is, it's not enough to survive. But something, you know, ticked in me. It's like, wait a minute. I'm not even playing. I'm just telling people how it is. And I think there's a great need for truth. People want to know the reality. And I know a lot of you guys out here have experienced the same thing. You know, a lot of you guys have crazy, crazy stories. And that's why my comment section on my channel is just a treasure trove of stories. It's just amazing what we've all gone through in this music business. So, you know, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. You know, I'm aware that there are people that are inspired by my format and my delivery style. But I would encourage everybody's got to put their own spin on it, you know. Everything is not doom and gloom. And I want to make that very clear on my channel. Doom and gloom is not what I do. What I call it is reality. It is reality of the music business. But I will say this. I have experienced extreme joy playing music over my life. And most of the time, when I'm playing music, I'm extremely happy. So, you know, I don't want anybody to take away from my channel that a career in music is just all doom and gloom. Because, man, those moments on stage when a band is cooking, when the rhythm section is hot, when the tune is right, when the crowd is into it, man, there is no greater feeling on earth. It's not all doom and gloom. If you love it, and I will tell you this, if you love music and you can't think of any other way that you want to make a living that you would be happy with, then you need to stick to playing music. Because, you know, and I had, at one time in my career, I had thought about, this was before getting a lot of my road work and before getting my, you know, gold and platinum records. I had contemplated moving home and, you know, helping with the family business and leaving it all behind, getting married and leaving it all behind. And it was it was my good friend Joseph Wooten, who I was doing a lot of gigs with at the time. He had his band, Hands of Soul. I used to play in his band. And he just told me, he said, man, you could do that, but you're not going to be happy doing that. You're Bad Brad. This is what you do. And, man, you know, and now in his case, he might have thought about, man, I'm gonna lose my guitar player, but I think he was right. You can't, there's a line in a Steely Dan song, you can try to run, but you can't hide what's inside of you. And that is very true. I think at a very early age, I got the music bug. I would sit on the front porch of my family's restaurant, and I would rock on that rocking chair as a 3 or 4 or 5 year old kid. And I would sing songs, and I'd just be out there rocking back and forth and singing songs. So I had the music bug very early. And even before I discovered Elvis, I was singing all the time. And then hearing Elvis for the first time, that was it. I had to get a guitar. I had to try to recreate, that excitement, that I heard in those early Elvis recordings. And I was chasing that excitement, trying to find the next thing all through my formative years, whether it was discovering Jimi Hendrix, discovering Van Halen, or, Adrian Belew, or Steve Stevens, or George Benson, or John Scofield, or Mike Stern, or Alan Holdsworth, all Prince, discovering these guys. Every one of them would inspire me in different ways and inspire me to keep going. I was always searching for that next inspiration. And then seeing Drew Zing with Steely Dan, that was a guy that I just was, man, I'm blown away by this guy. I got to listen to this guy all the time. So it's not all doom and gloom. It's been great joy. It's been a great chase, trying to keep up with the times, keep playing, stay relevant. And, so I understand people out there, we all have a story, but it's not all doom and gloom. Imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So anytime I see somebody kind of doing my thing, I think, man, thank you. Thank you very much. You're validating what we're doing here. And people love the stories and they love the delivery. These are unedited videos. It's raw, it's real. And, I do it only the way that I can do it. That's the only way any of us can do things, is our own way. You are a unique individual, and I am a unique individual, and we each bring something great to the table. And I salute all of you. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.